It's 18 minutes past 9.
The Radio Wammo Breakfast.
Kiwi.
Now, you might remember that at the end of the last year, we were chatting with Simon Fisher from the New Zealand Atheist bus campaign. Last year, they raised in excess of $20,000 from public donations, but they've met a bit of a setback in their plans. The nationwide bus company NZ Bus, who had tentatively approved the campaign's ads on buses in major city centres, has now rejected them. We'll find out why now with Simon Fisher from the NZ Atheist bus campaign. Morning to you, Simon.
Good morning.
Now, $20,000. In fact, your target was less than $20,000 last year, wasn't it?
Originally, we had a target of $10,000, and we met that within a day, I think. So we set a more realistic target of $20,000, and we met that in 5 days.
Now, just to refresh everyone's memories, this campaign isn't new. They've done this in other cities around the world, haven't they? That's
right. It started in the UK over a year and a half ago now, and it spread around the world into exactly the same campaign was run in Germany and Spain and Canada and a few other places. And similar atheist ad campaigns have started in America and our neighbours Australia and lots of other countries. And it's really a shame that the same campaign can run in the UK with, their turbulent political situation around religion, yet it gets denied here.
Now, the ads haven't gone up on buses, have they?
No, we were at the stage of fundraising, and we were pretty much ready to start actually printing the ads when NZ Bus came back to us and said, no, sorry, we're not going to run the ads, we're rejecting them.
And what were the ads going to say?
There's probably no God, now stop worrying and enjoy your life.
So there's nothing majorly too offensive in that, I wouldn't have thought?
No, I wouldn't have thought so. I mean, we expected to get a few complaints. You can put pretty much any slightly controversial ad out there and you'll get a number of complaints, especially when the topic is religion. But we weren't expecting NZ Bus to fold so quickly, perhaps on a number of complaints from religious groups, which we know they received via open letters, and, for example, there's a Facebook group against the campaign.
Because I guess leaving aside whether you agree with the message or disagree or don't even care, mostly when advertising is banned, the advertising actually goes up first.
Exactly. So these are preemptive complaints about an ad which isn't even on buses. So it is really it's quite astounding, really.
Did these ads? I mean, these ads would have had to have also gone through some kind of advertising standards authority first, or anything.
Well, no, we didn't formally do that, and I'm not sure if you can even do that before the ads are actually published.
They go up first, don't they?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I mean, of course, we checked out the advertising standards authority guidelines, and we seem to be very much in accordance with those. And the sheer fact that it was allowed in the UK, which has similar guidelines to ours, and Australia as well.
So if you're not in breach of any advertising standards, what grounds do NZ Bus have to reject your cash?
Well, yes, that is an argument. You could say that they have the right, of course, to, as a private company, to decide what ads go on their buses, and that's fine. But a potential issue there is the Human Rights Act. Now, that I can't go into the complex details of this because I'm not a lawyer, and whether it's discrimination or not is up for the court to decide. But it does explicitly say that there is a right not to hold a belief, and it explicitly mentions atheism and the right to express one's thoughts in public. So they might potentially be in breach of that.
What kind of power does NZ Bus have over the advertising situation on buses around New Zealand?
Well, they control what goes on their buses, and they're by far the most dominant bus company.
Right.
So,
can you go to rival companies?
There are smaller companies around, and we've investigated that relatively briefly. But for example, the main rivals in Auckland and Wellington, they are quite small, and they also probably do not want the ads. I know one in Wellington in particular does not want to run the ads because they're a small and conservative company.
Right, and did they fear some kind of backlash from passengers?
Potentially, yeah. I mean, that's what NZ Bus is mentioned in the early stages to us. But if you look at the UK, they had thousands of buses over a year, and there was no reported, at least that I could find, reported incidents of violence to the drivers or damage to the buses. So it seems a bit of a weak argument to say that could happen here.
It's almost, I mean, I'm just looking at the ad on the bus. I suppose it's a London bus or somewhere around the world. It's almost an artwork of some kind. It's like almost an installation. It's a bus installation.
It is a way. That's actually a good way to look at it. It's putting a message out there that gets people to think. So it's not like your typical ad where you're actually advertising a product or a service.
Yeah.
We're just wanting people to think about their beliefs. We're not trying to convert anyone. We're not pushing any dogma on anyone. We're just wanting people to stop and, when they see the bus on the street, and think about why they believe what they do and what role God plays in their life, etc.
Because you've been in discussions with NZ Bus. I mean, what kind of arguments have you put forward? I mean, one that comes to mind for me, and I mean, I enjoy a good drink like the next person, but I'd imagine that there might be some people who'd be offended by alcohol advertising on buses because it's been harmful to their family. Maybe some of their family members died, or someone's got an alcohol problem. They might be offended by alcohol inside of the buses, but you see that all the time.
Yes, and I'll have to correct you there a little bit. We actually haven't had the chance even to discuss this with NZ Bus.
Well, what's happened there?
Well, we tried to organise some mediation sessions through the Human Rights Commission, and they just straight up denied to participate. They basically said our decision is final, and anything you say won't change it. So they sort of stonewalled us in even discussing the matter.
So I take it the cash, the 20,000 plus, is in a bit of a holding pen at the moment. What's going to happen?
Everyone that donated can rest assured that we are going to use this money for advertising atheistic messages. We have no plans to use the money for legal costs, because I can appreciate that a number of people who donated would not want their money used to fight some sort of legal campaign that they might not personally fully agree with. So if we can, depending how far we go down the legal track with the review tribunal, it might be more realistic just to switch to billboards, for example, or bus stop advertising.
Bus stop ads. Would you go to TV, newspapers, radio?
Potentially, yeah. It seems a visual medium works best for this. So, I mean, billboard seems a perfect option. It's hardly a second-rate option.
Have you had any feedback from the Atheist Bus campaigners overseas on this one?
I've been in touch with the UK campaign, Arian from there a little bit, but not directly, sorry, about this issue of the rejection. So yeah, it would be interesting to get their views, but I'm sure they would be supportive of us.
Yeah, and I do want to point out in this interview, I mean, whether you agree or disagree with the message, I think the main thing we're trying to get across here in this particular segment is the fact that this advertising has been turned down without the advertising actually even going up. This is by preemptive complaints. And just looking at the bus, there's no nude woman, there's nothing too offensive on there, there's no swear words.
Exactly. So you've really got to wonder why, the reasons why this ad is getting rejected. And we haven't had a proper response from NZ Bus. And I would challenge them to respond to how we could change this ad. If it's too controversial perhaps, how could we change it while still keeping an atheist message? Because under the Human Rights Act, they're not allowed to deny services just because it's an atheistic message.
But you wouldn't want to change the message though, would you? Or you wouldn't want to change the wording because that's how it's been done around the world.
Oh, ideally, no. Ideally, we wanted to keep everything in sync because that helps it provides solidarity around the world. Yeah.
So, silly old bus company and silly old New Zealand, really, isn't it?
A little bit, yes.
Yeah.
No, I wouldn't say silly old New Zealand. I think by far the majority have been supportive. It does seem, though, that there is a fringe out there in society who cannot tolerate an alternative view in public and are willing to, go to lengths to sort of silence people's voices.
Simon Fisher, thanks very much, and we'll follow this story with interest.
Thank you.
That is Simon Fisher from the NZ Atheist Bus campaign. You can check out the website as well, nogod.org.nz. Track right now from Miho Wada. This here is called Someone Extra.